Hello, conscious queens. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to a live here on, it is Wednesday night. We keep calling it Tuesday night, but it is Wednesday night. My love, if you are hopping on live, go ahead and just give us a little emoji or just type in hi. And then that way we know that the microphone and the camera and everything are working and that you can find us, which is always encouraging. And darling, if you are catching up on a replay, that is absolutely fine. And as I always say, time is just a construct. Pretend that you are here live with us. And if we ask you a question or to respond in any way, just go right ahead and play along and type in. And if you do have questions, but you're watching a replay, don't think, oh, no, they're not going to answer my question. Yeah, we will. I'll come back in, have a look through anytime new questions are asked under the video, and I'll make sure that I get them to Melody because I know nothing, and we will get the answers to you. Does that sound good? So, oh my goodness, my mum's in the house. Hi, Mum.
Hi, Mum.
So, as you know, of course, I'm Maharati Ishaya, but who's
I'm Melody.
This is indeed hi.
I feel like it's now like I'm Melody. I'm like Madonna, just a first name.
Just the first name. Just Melody. Just Melody. Is that what we're going
Just
with
Melody.
now?
Is
Just
fine.
Melody.
Yeah, Melody Tyra. But yeah, just Melody. Mel. Whatever tickles your pickle.
She's a very humble human being. But I have to tell you that this person is actually a little bit of a freaking hi, Tanya. This person's actually a little bit of a rock star. Can you tell everyone how you started the day today?
Oh, so I have been cold water swimming every day in winter to raise money for charity. So because I'm in London, I trekked across to Hyde Park and swam in the Serpentine, which is 5.5 degrees. Went for a little 400-meter dip. Which is nothing compared to the 1.7 degrees that I just swam in Scotland. But no, it's fine.
Yeah. Why did it feel like nothing to swim in 4 degrees?
Because I cut a channel in the ice with some friends and we swam through the ice because we're crazy, basically.
Basically because she's crazy. But also
because it's incredible for mental health. It's incredible for your system, your lymphatic system. It keeps your resilience up. But yeah, mostly mental health benefits are, and just reconnecting you back to nature as well, being in the wild instead of being in nature in a way that is like, oh, I love a summer holiday, I love to lie on the beach. Really just loving nature in every single of its purest forms, even when it's cold, even when it's rainy. Yeah, that's my jam. Yeah.
This girl be loving the nature, absolutely loving nature. If I have a question about sustainability or what soap I should buy, or I'm feeling confused about how I can help the planet in any way whatsoever, this is my go-to person, which is why I thought you guys would love to meet her, because she makes everything so simple and so easy in the ways that I never like. When I think about saving the planet, I make that such an incredibly huge thing. And then I'll see something from Melody and then go, oh, it's just all of us just doing one simple action.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped using disposable razor blades about 2 years ago because I saw a post that Melody put on Instagram and I was like, this is so easy. I can buy a safety razor and a good old fashioned soapy stick and I smell like a guy in the 50s.
And you know what? People are so scared of safety razors. I think they feel like they're like cutthroat razors. You're going to cut yourself loads more than you would with a disposable razor. Absolutely not. The blade goes in at exactly the right angle. So it's like human nature. It's so easy to shave your legs with it. You can get ones as well that have a flexible head and the same ones as those disposable ones that you get. So they're called a leaf razor. They're a little bit more expensive, but hey, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. So if you feel like investing in that, then totally do. Yeah. It's a lot of really small things that amount to something really huge when a lot of people do it.
If you want to feel fancy when you're shaving, get an old-fashioned 50s safety razor, because one, you are right, I have never cut myself, and I was terrified that I was going to cut myself with this thing.
I have, but I'm a klutz. Hands up, I'm a klutz. And like, for complete transparency, I totally have, but not badly. Definitely no.
I mean,
no
you're
worse
obviously
than
still with us.
Yeah, no worse than I have like nicked an ankle or a knee with a normal razor in the past. So yeah, easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Oh, and they are fancy. Like
They're
mine's rose gold.
Ooh. I went for silver, and it's so heavy and luxurious. And when I shave now, I feel like I'm every day's a pamper day, because it does make you. This is why I haven't cut myself, because it makes you slow down. You can't just hack it yourself like you can with the cheap plastic things. It makes me slow down and luxuriate, and then not take a layer of skin off when I'm shaving.
But also, like, it feels like you're a 50s pinup girl, like lathering your legs up and then like, I'm just gonna shave one bit at a time.
And then we soap.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh my god, this is so typical of us. We have just dove right into a total girly chat conversation here on a Wednesday night, but we're here for you, really, because we can do this anytime. Loves, how are you feeling about where you stand with your position on saving the planet? Is such a big thing to say, but being sustainable, moving towards a more sustained way of living. How are you feeling about your contribution to landfill right now? How are you feeling about what to buy, what products to buy? Just emoji me or send me a word in the comments box so we can just get a baseline level.
Yeah,
and
like,
see
or even just a like 1 to 10, how eco-conscious do you feel? Or put in there, like, you know, is it a goal of yours to be a number 10? Do you want to be some sustainable zero waster? Are you happy with where you are right now? Like, stick a little, I don't know, little green love heart in there if you're happy with where you are right now. If you have a question in particular that is burning you, this is an absolute no judgment space. So if you've got something you want to ask, there are no silly questions. Please ask away. I'd love it. Being green is totally a journey, and everyone has to start somewhere. It just so happens that my journey started about 6 years ago, and I've been writing about the environment, so I've done a lot of research. But I totally get that everyone's got to start somewhere, and maybe you are still you know, using chemicals, or maybe you're still buying things in plastic, or maybe you can't get away from dairy products just yet, or whatever it is that's making you feel a little bit pang of guilt. Like, ask the question. I'm here to answer them.
Yeah. I have to tell you, this is, and this is the reason I'm letting her into our space, my conscious queens, is that Melody is the least judgmental person. When I knew she was coming to stay up in London with me for a couple of days, I must admit, I looked around my house and I went, oh my.
Yeah.
So much planning.
And I don't really see it as like I'm right or anyone else is wrong. I just see it as like, oh, cool, you're there, and it'd be interesting to know where you want to be. I just see it as a difference. Like I was saying yesterday, the difference when I see the most difference is when I go into people's bathrooms, and I find it fascinating, like honest to God fascinating. It's not even something that I go, ooh, that bathroom, they got so much stuff. It's more just like, oh wow, like I am different. And before I don't notice it, because you don't know where other people are until you go into their bathrooms and you're like, oh wow, yeah, okay. So I've really scaled back.
Yeah. But I don't think you realize how far you've come on your journey.
No, definitely not. You don't know what other people don't know, which is why this is so helpful as well, because I can kind of gauge from people like you know what people want to know about. Like we were discussing before, what the top sustainability things would be.
We do. I want to get into, I'm going to ask Melody what her top 3 sustainability tips for you all are. I'm just having a look now.
My friends think I'm OCD.
Mum. That was from Mum. Probably an 8. My friends think I'm OCD. Probably Mum, but it's because you're so committed.
I'm super organized. Hey, I love an OCD person.
Yes, Nikki, organic fruit and veg in the supermarket has so much packaging. I eat loads and buy from organic farm boxes, yes. but can't afford to buy fruit and veg all that
Cool.
way.
So there's a couple of different things in there. One is the organic, and like absolutely, if you can afford, when you can afford to splash out and buy organic food, you are investing in a future which is more organic, and it's lovely, and you're rewarding the farmers for the work that they're doing, because it does take a hell of a lot more work to farm fruit and veg organically without pesticides that are keeping those bugs off it, eating it, and keeping it fresh for you. The plastic thing, so there's a couple of different reasons why things come in plastic. At the moment, because most food is not organic, it's the way that they make the distinction between the two. So you don't get away with buying organic things at the checkout sneakily. So that's the supermarket's way of defining which is organic and which isn't organic.
Wow.
But also, things come in plastic because as fruit and veg ripens, it lets off a gas called ethylene, which helps it ripen, which is why they say if you've got an unripe avocado or unripe bananas, you put it into a paper bag in a warm place in the oven. It lets off more ethylene, and it then has its own little gas chamber, which helps it ripen further. And the reason fruit and veg is in plastic at the supermarkets as well is because they pick it so far in advance that it's not yet ripe. And they keep it in cold storage. And then when they put it out on the shelf, it's in this plastic bag, which is essentially its own little ethylene gas chamber, and it's helping it to ripen before it gets to you, because there's such a high demand for things all year round. So like people want apples all year round, even though there is blatantly a season for apples. It's the same way as there is for pears, bananas, blueberries, everything else. Everything has a season. So buying stuff in season, you'll find you'll get less packaging. It's really difficult in bigger cities as well. Obviously, there's not a lot of farm shops or anything around. And this is the caveat that I say to everyone: being sustainable is not convenient. You're trying to live in a circular way. So like the circular economy is when there's no waste, and the linear economy is when you buy and then you throw away. So you're trying to live in a circular way in a society which is set up in a linear economy. If you're interested now, if you're logged on listening to this, you guys are the game changers. Like, it's you guys that are pushing everyone forward, and that is amazing. But it's not convenient because the system is broken. It's not yet set up to live in that circular way. And for me, I do my shopping at about 5 different stores. I cycle around Brighton on my bike, and it's heavy and it's annoying and it's not convenient, but it's something that I've decided to do because it makes me feel better about myself. And everyone's got like their own thing. Like, maybe they love Warburton's bread or, something like that, where they're like, I'm not ready to give that up yet. That's okay. You don't have to be ready to do everything at once. I didn't start all at once. I just started with like the calico shopping bag, and then the water bottle, and then the coffee cup, and then the bamboo toothbrush, and then it's really, it's such a journey of a million different steps. So don't beat yourself up about it. You're crazy to beat yourself up about it. You don't like do a course and expect to become an engineer on your first day of uni, so to expect to be overnight zero waste or perfect like someone's Instagram story, it's mad. And the most zero waste thing as well is the thing you already own. So people that are going out there buying a stainless steel tiffin tin to put their lunch in, great, that looks really pretty and it'll take a nice photo for you. But if you already have Tupperware, you don't need a stainless steel tin unless your Tupperware's worn out to pieces. Like, I'm still using plastic stuff. I have plastic stuff already. So the most sustainable thing to do is to use that until it falls apart.
Oh, that's such a good tip. So rather than going into the cupboards, taking out all the Tupperware, taking out everything that you consider to be not eco-friendly and chucking it out, use it up. Absolutely use it up. And I'm still throwing out plastic stuff. So I've collected all of my landfill waste in a 2-liter bottle for the last what is now probably 8 months, which sounds huge and sounds really daunting, but it is also about finding different waste streams and ways to recycle stuff which isn't usually taken. So for example, where you see your plastic carrier bags at the supermarket, you can, if you read the bin, you can also recycle bubble wrap on there. Like,
you know, my mum sends me presents from Australia. She's not the most eco-friendly person in the world. Or people will buy me flowers, and it's rude to say no, thank you, I'm not having that because I don't use plastic, and I'm keep your flowers, keep your plastic
Keep
flowers.
your flowers.
But like, I think when I say to people like, yeah, I have to put that back in, I have to now put that in the bottle, it's like, oh, okay, because some things they don't even think of. Fruit stickers, for example, it's crazy how quickly those things add up.
So yeah, sorry, I was just having a little look at this.
Go as much as you can. Like, if you have space to grow food, give it a go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Grow on your windowsill, stuff that grows year round that you don't have to tend to as much, because, you know, we all live busy lives and we don't want to be tending to things that need pruning all the time. But if you want to grow a herb garden on your windowsill, if you've got a doorstep and you can grow some tomatoes because there's enough sun there, amazing. Everything tastes better if you grow it yourself anyway. But buying seasonal produce is better for the planet, and also you will get more plastic free. Do you have to buy only seasonal produce? That's up to you. Like, I have totally had a hankering before and been like, oh man, I really feel like pineapple. And I know it's come from Brazil, but hey, life is also about joy. It's not about being like, hey, I'm some staunch person who lives only by these set rules. Absolutely not. That makes no sense. Like, life is short. If you feel like something and you've weighed it up in your head and you're like, would I feel guilty afterwards, or does the guilt, you know, is it outweighed by the joy of having that thing?
Yeah.
And it's about really consciously consuming, so like making that decision with everything that you buy or everything that you do. So even when I went up to Scotland swimming, I had to be like, right, so it would be so fast to get there by plane, but I'm going to go online and I'm going to look at the carbon, and then I ended up finding that I could carpool with some people, and we had so much stuff, and it was the most economical way, but it was also the lowest carbon footprint besides catching a train, which would have taken something like, you know, 24 hours by the time I'd caught so many trains to get to that tiny little remote place in Scotland. It's about weighing up everything.
Yeah. And also, I think just letting yourself take the action that is available to you in the moment. I think as soon as we get into a rigid place about it has to be all or nothing, we reach overwhelm and then we end up doing absolutely nothing. I find it all the time when I never really, I mean, I have a vegan diet, but I don't really expect anyone else in my life to have a vegan diet. And what I find interesting is that as soon as I mention I'm vegan, people will come up to me and say, I can't be vegan because cheese. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, okay. But I'm always like, but if you have a desire to lean more towards a vegan or even a vegetarian diet, like if you can be vegetarian and that excites you, then why not? Or if you could be a vegetarian who occasionally enjoys your mum's lamb curry and a bacon sandwich, like, hey, why not do that? Why make it so black and white?
It's not so stringent. And what I say to people as well that are like tempted to move more into veganism, like, so I'm really strange. So I am like 90% vegan. I'll have cheese on special occasions. I might have a piece of fish if it's my birthday or it's Christmas and I'm having some smoked salmon. But most of the food that I eat at home is vegan. I might spoil myself if I go out for a meal. And so what I say to people who are just like, oh, I can't because of cheese, or I love lamb, I'm like, right, well, that's okay. That's a really good excuse. Just because you love something is a good excuse. But something had to die for that meal, or, you know, there was sacrifices made for that meal to be on your plate. So make it a delicacy.
Enjoy it.
Make it like get the best of the best and have it rarely, and then enjoy it more. Like, there's no harm in that. You don't need cheese every day. You don't need chicken every day. You don't need beef every day. Like, once a week, start with that. You know, maybe eat vegan during the week and then have whatever you want and blow out on the weekends, or just one day go meat free.
I guess the point is, because, you know, this is not a post about being vegan, like it's just using that example, but I guess with this journey towards sustainability, it's just about doing the next thing that you can, you know, like Melody is miles ahead in this game ahead of me, you know, and I could let myself get overwhelmed and feel like, well, there's no point. Or I can just keep asking her questions and keep taking the baby steps towards what suits me and what's available to me in that moment. Sending light to the ambulance. But we could talk all night.
I just want to answer this one question about the compostable plastic alternatives, because we were chatting about that before. So anything that is compostable, paper, paper, cardboard, fruit, veg, all that kind of stuff. And obviously now they've got compostable plastics that are made of cornstarch. Essentially, that's a food also made into a bag. If you use compostable bags, they need to be composted. The reason is, if you put a biodegradable material into landfill, it will rot rather than break down. And when something rots, which is biodegradable, it lets off methane. And methane is a greenhouse gas, which means it's 20 times stronger at collecting all that heat and keeping it in our atmosphere. And that causes climate change, global warming, stuff like that. So if you're going to throw a bin bag in the landfill bin, make it plastic. It's not going to let off methane. But having a compostable bag for sure is a better way to go if you have compost, if it does get composted. Cool.
I found that super helpful talking about that earlier, because I was thinking that if I, for example, put my landfill rubbish in a compostable bag, that would be better. And then to discover that what I'm doing is creating this really toxic gas in the landfill.
Once it's
really
compacted away from sunlight and air, it will just rot. You're just piling stuff on stuff on stuff. If that stuff can't rot, like plastic, because it doesn't break down, nothing will happen. It'll just be compacted. If it has the ability to break down, it'll rot. That's what you don't want. Bad.
So no food.
No food, if you can help it. No food into landfill. I'm like real cheeky sometimes. I'm probably going to get flagged by some council somewhere. But if I've got like a bit of cheese left over and it's in the fridge, I'll throw it on the street and feed the foxes.
You'll feed the foxes rather than make a mess in the landfill bag. I love it.
Yeah.
Lovely. Foxes with cheesy breath running around Brighton. I love it. Now, how are we doing in here? You guys are having a nice little chat. Compost the flowers. Yes. What's this, Mum? Flexitarian. Yes. I think Mum would actually disagree with you, because she does need cheese every day.
Oh, right.
That's cool too, Mum. We still love you. So I'm going to have a little scroll through these at the end. So if you do have questions that come up, or any light bulb moments, just basically, this is a chat box, okay? But it would be remiss of me not to just let Melody give you now her 3 top tips towards sustainability.
Okay.
Hit us. Make it easy for us.
I mean, number 1, don't just stop guilt tripping yourself. The guilt trip is not helpful for anyone. It's not going to make you go further. It's really unhelpful to it's great to take stock of what you're doing and audit your life or audit your waste. It's unhelpful to beat yourself up about that and feel guilty, and because you just won't move forward. You'll be trudging through, just feeling heavy and guilt laden every time you do anything. Okay, and then sustainability wise, there are a couple of things that you can do which actually don't take much at all. You can change to an ethical bank, which means swapping to someone that doesn't invest your money, when you put your money in the bank invests that money so they can make money off your savings. If you put it into a bank which is not ethical, they're investing your money in things like fracking or arms dealing or war or oil. But if you invest in an ethical bank, quite often that not only will they not be investing in the bad stuff, but they will be investing in the good stuff.
So just because Melody told me this earlier while she was making me a delicious dinner, which we're going to enjoy after this, but I was gobsmacked by this. So I take my money, I put it in a normal branded high street bank, like a household name high street bank, and they could potentially be investing in arms dealing and fracking. So to name 2.
Yeah, so then you're the person that's helping them do that, which really that feels bad, doesn't it? So, and it
Wow.
just takes a quick Google to find out what the best ones are. But some of the smaller banks that are now starting to pop up online, like Starling or Monzo, who are incredible. I have a Starling account as well as having a nationwide account because they're a high street bank. I wanted somewhere I could go into and talk to people, but they're not a bank. They're a building society, so it's still run by its members, which is really helpful because then they don't invest into horrible things. But those smaller ones like Monzo and Starling, they're brilliant, and they track what your spending is. So like if you have to do your own taxes at the end of the year, that is amazing. It's like
already done.
Yeah, food, paying people, like shopping or whatever it is that you're spending it on.
So tip number 1 towards sustainability, and this one will be so easy to do. It'll take you like 15 minutes to do a switch and change over. Switch to an ethical bank. Recommendations from Starling and Monzo there, and they are both awesome. I checked them out too. So what's next?
The second one is obviously your energy supply. It's a really old one, but the same thing happens. You use energy. It's gotten so convoluted. We don't know where the energy is coming from. Some places are saying energy is sustainable, but really they're counting wood sources that are being chopped off from Canada, and then they're shipped over here, and then they're burnt. So like, you really do need to invest in, or you really do need to do a little bit of research and find, and like, it's a quick Google. I say a little bit of research. It's a quick Google. And the best ones that I've found have been bulb and ovo, and you can choose plans which are totally eco-friendly, all from sustainable sources, like LL sustainable energy, and they're actually really good really well priced. Like they're very competitive.
Because that's another myth, I think, as well. My mind automatically goes, oh, sustainable energy supplier. Oh, here we go. This is going to hit my pocket, but not necessarily.
No, definitely not.
Tell me the names of the 2 ones you recommend again.
Ovo and bulb.
I like those names too. Let's check those out. Okay, hit me. Number 3.
Okay. Number 3, just pick one thing. Just pick one thing. Like, just one thing to change, because it is a knock-on effect. Whether it's like, oh, okay, I'm due to get a new toothbrush, I'm going to get a bamboo toothbrush. Or I've run out of soap, I'm going to buy bar soap. Or like, I'm going to find out where my local bulk shop is, and I'm just going to buy one thing from there. Okay, so do one thing, but also stop using fairy liquid.
Stop using fairy liquid.
Stop using fairy. I swim in the water every single day. On the back, you really do have to check the back of things. It says damage to marine life with lasting effects. They put the warning on there, and people still use it. And because we're so used to just trusting companies and not reading labels, with lasting effects. Like, okay, we're basically poisoning ourselves, and we're buying it. Like, we're doing it to ourselves.
So if it damages a water supply with lasting effects, that's potentially even getting back into the tap water.
Yeah. Well, it says damage to marine life with lasting effects, but hey, I swim in the sea every day. I count myself as marine life. I don't really want to be swimming in a sea of fairy liquid. I'm sure no one else does either.
Yeah, well, if something was damaging to marine life, I wouldn't drink it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Ooh, but I love that tip of just pick one thing.
Just one thing.
Rather than being overwhelmed, just pick one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, which one can you see yourself doing? 1, 2, or 3? Pick one thing. Change your energy supplier to something eco-friendly, or change your bank. Which one of those 3 do you think that you are most likely to do? Now, as we know, there's always a lag on here. So I ask you a question, it looks like you haven't heard me, and then 10 seconds later, it's going to fire up. So I'm going to give you a chance to let us know, or if you have any other questions or anything that you really are dying to pick Melody's brain about, type in the chat box. But we've got something super cool to tell you about. As you can see, we're kind of best buds. We've known each other for a long, long, long time, and I've really been enjoying both of our journeys towards helping people, particularly in the last few years. And for Melody, that's come out as being a sustainability coach. And obviously, as you know, for me, that's been a meditation, mindset, and conscious success coach. So we thought it would be awesome to team those things up. Not sure if you're sorry. I'm not cool. Try again. We thought it'd be awesome to team those things up. Oh my God, take two, nailed it. And we have created a retreat, which we're super stoked about.
We're really stoked. Like, I'm so excited. And when we came up with it, we could not stop buzzing at each other. Like, I'm pumped to work with her. She's pumped to work with me. And we're really pumped to share stuff with people in a retreat environment, which is going to be so gentle, but so worth it.
Yeah. Because what we noticed was this sense of overwhelm, this sense of it's too much to do, to move towards, it's heavy to move towards a sustainable life. It just brings up so much stuff. And obviously, as you've seen, Melody's not about that at all. She's not finger pointed, there's no judgment, she's nothing but helpful. And as you know, my area of expertise is to bring everything inside. So we were like, well, let's team up and create a reconnection retreat. So you connect deeply within as you're connecting deeply to nature. Because there's something I've really experienced and learned a lot from hanging out with Melody is this symbiotic relationship that we have with nature. And often when we cut that relationship is when we start to really spin out and forget that we are human beings, human animals here supposed to live on this Mother Nature planet. Yeah. So it's going to be, I'm going to plug my computer in before it dies. You talk a bit more.
Right. Okay. So the reconnection thing for me, when we start to feel guilty, when we start to feel anxiety, when we start to feel overwhelmed, we start doing even more things that are totally unhelpful to ourselves and to the planet. We start consuming more. We start being like, oh my God, I'm panicked. I need to do something that will make me feel better. I'm going to go out and buy a dress from Primark because I need something, but I don't have much money. And it's not ever filling that hole, because that hole can only be filled by yourself and by nature. So that's like the main message we want to try and teach people over a really long, gentle weekend in the countryside.
With a duck pond.
With a duck pond and really good food and just like, yeah, lovely people, lovely food, practical advice on how to be a bit more sustainable, and then reconnecting back to yourself and nature in the most loving and gentle way.
We're going to have you leaving that retreat so connected within, so enjoying your connection with nature without, and really feeling confident and ready to take that feeling of connectedness and oneness out into the world and be of service, but not from a place of panic or overwhelm, from a place of being a conscious queen. So this retreat is going to be in Lewes, which is outside Brighton, and it's from May the 1st to the 3rd. I'll put links to it in the group, and I'll email you guys as well and tell you all about it, because we want to make sure that you sign up quick, because there's only 10 places. It's going to be a beautiful, intimate little gathering in the woods with a duck pond.
Wild garlic season.
We're going to make something fabulous with wild garlic. And by the way, we will cook for you all weekend. You might not know this about me, but thanks to my mom, I'm a pretty awesome cook. And this one is an incredible cook. If you could smell the cauliflower satay she has made me that we're going to go and tuck into in a minute.
I started this journey as a food blogger, and I realized how much plastic waste I was creating when I was creating recipes. So I can cook, all right?
We're going to cook for you. We're going to love you. We're going to teach you how to be sustainable, but coming from a place of sustaining yourself first. How does that sound? I saw some love hearts going off. Energy and bank, yes. Change bank, yes. Already with bulb. Oh, brilliant, Nikki. Well done. Putting it off for some time, need to take action. Yep, sometimes it's just putting something in the calendar, isn't it? What's my saying? If it's not in the diary, it doesn't get done.
And yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you do feel overwhelmed, it just gets put on the back burner, and it's this vicious cycle of like, I haven't done it, I feel worse, but I feel worse, so I'm not going to do it yet.
Yeah.
Just need to get out of your head there.
One thing, one action. Give yourself a nice gentle deadline to just spend some time having a research around those banks and choose something by the end of March. What a spring clean would that be? Spring clean in your bank account. Fantastic. Now, let's just look through these. You guys are amazing. I feel like we were talking a lot more about composting earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that that's something we should all be doing?
I would say composting for me is the biggest thing, because as far as climate change goes, and like this is the one, buzzword that gives everyone the real heaves, because they're like, oh my God, the planet is dying. We're all going to die. Everything's gone into destruction mode.
Or they go into, no, it's just natural. The planet's shifting. We don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Denial.
Yeah. Well, let's not address that denial.
We'll leave that.
We'll park that one for later. But the biggest thing for me is like, okay, well, if I'm going to make a difference to the planet in terms of climate change, and then we've got to get all of this like greenhouse gases out of the air. And there's huge ways that we can do that as like a collective whole. Marine permaculture, so like if we plant beds of kelp, they draw down the carbon out of the air, which is incredible, like way more than forests. There's loads of things that you can do, but the one thing that you can do personally is compost your fruit and veg and your food scraps, so they don't go into landfill and create more methane, which is the last thing that we need. Changing your diet, obviously we touched on veganism. Yes, cows and animal agriculture creates a lot of methane as well. It also creates industrial runoff, which is not so good for our waterways. It's a whole nother topic there, but definitely composting your waste is one of the biggest ones for me, the most important thing.
Yeah, if everyone could just choose one huge
if that's
impactful action, composting your waste.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would guess most local councils have a way to make that really easy.
Most do. I'm down in Brighton, and you would be surprised that they don't do curbside collection.
But it's so green down there.
It has a green name, but it's actually not very green.
Interesting.
Yeah, but London definitely do. So I lived in London for 6 years. I mostly lived in East London. I know that they have brown bins there. I know that they do collection from curbside, from your door, from wherever you put your rubbish, they'll collect it for you. And I don't think that they have restrictions on cooked food. Some do. Brighton, where I compost, because it's a collective thing and they use it for community gardens, they have restrictions on the type of thing you can compost. It has to be, any compost has to be an equal mix of cardboard, paper, wood chips and food, because if you have loads of food, it becomes really acidic and it's no good for the soil. So I am allowed to compost paper and everything else, but somewhere like London, you might not be able to chuck paper in there, but you can chuck like your porridge in there, which is a cooked food, because they're only going to turn it into mulch anyway in a huge biodigester, which is a whole other topic as well. But yeah,
if you have a compost bin, use it.
Definitely.
If you don't, write to your local council.
Go online to the council website. It'll probably have the information, and you maybe just have to order one. It probably exists somewhere. If it doesn't exist in your local council, there might be a community project doing it, especially if it's a community garden.
Cool. And if you have your own garden, get a composter.
Yeah, if you have the space.
Yeah.
Why not? And then, like, if you've got a garden and you're thinking about growing veggies as well, compost.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Turn your waste into fertilizer.
Turn your waste into
food. Please share the tomatoes when they come.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow. This has been awesome.
Cool. I've loved it
so much.
Thanks, guys, for are
there any
in and
final
commenting?
Questions? Scotland Vote Together, yes. Council collected food waste. We collect it with garden waste where I live. Fantastic. You guys, like Melody said, you guys are the cutting edge. The fact even to turn up to hear someone talk about sustainability means that you're already ahead of the curve and your head is in the game. So this is actually just to give you a lot of appreciation and encouragement, and to just say, if you're feeling guilty about where you are in your journey at all, just
stop that.
Stop it. We're going to come round. Or best of, you come to us and we will love you and feed you and let you play with the ducks.
I think a lot of that guilt it comes from a place of not understanding, and that's normal, because we've created this convoluted system where it's suited companies not to give us all the information. Let me simplify it for you. like not right here now because it's a big thing, but if you come on the retreat, I'll help you simplify it. You can understand it a bit better, you can feel less guilty about it, you can then move forward and do more positive things. And the best thing about it is it cascades onto other people without the guilt, without the fear, without anything else. People see that and they love it, and you'll start changing other people's lives for the better, and everyone will start changing the planet for the better, and it's a wonderful thing to see.
You changed my life for the better, lady. Now, where can everybody else find you?
My namesake at the moment, so like Melody Tyra. I'm melodytyra.com. I'm Melody Tyra on Instagram. I'm Melody Tyra on I'm Melody Tyra EM, which stands for the Epicurean Mermaid, on Facebook. And I'm starting a new project called Waste Less House, which is what we're connecting on. 2 houses there. Got Wendy House Project and Waste Less House coming together for you.
Can you tell we're friends?
But that there's not a lot of love that's been put into that yet. So it's a new
it's there.
thing.
It's coming
a new
soon.
thing.
I will put links underneath this video so that you can find Melody. Honestly, go especially her Instagram, which is probably her most used platform.
It is her most used platform.
Go and check that out. She puts stories of herself swimming in the Brighton Sea every day. And if you've ever looked out the window and gone, nah, it's a bit cold outside, I don't want to go out today, watch one of her videos and you will be outside running, because this one will be in a swimming costume in the sea in a storm. So she's hugely inspirational and inspiring. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
It's been great to have you here. And I think we'll have her again. Should we have her again and drill in and ask her more questions soon? I think my guys would love that. Really good information. Mum gave us a praise.
Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Mum. Thank you all so much for being here. Like I said, if this has sparked any questions, go ahead, type them. We will get back to you. I've got a funny feeling that we will bring Melody back because she's kind of one of us, isn't she? We like her. We like her a lot. I'll put wait for you. That's her queen.
That's my queen.
That's your queen hat. There's our crowns. We will put information for where you can find Melody underneath this video. Like I said, if you're watching it on a replay, still go ahead, type your questions, emoji with us, be here live, imagine, because you are right here, right now. We love you so much. Bye for now.